Okay, welcome everyone to day 3 of 1000. Today, will we be talking about understanding your market and your audience. So this is very important whether you are an established business or you are an aspiring entrepreneur or you are just working on your side hustle or maybe you are an online marketer, course creator, content creator. This is going to be one of the most important things that you have listened to in a very long time, and you're going to discover that in just a moment. So who am I and why am I doing this? A couple of days ago I asked myself, if I had 1000 more days to live and impart the most valuable lessons I've learned, what would I teach the world? And so I have had very remarkable career working for Chevron, working for Shell. I've had global experience working with businesses and business leaders across more than 50 industries in 12 countries. Okay, I have also had the privilege to teach at the Stanford Seed program of Stanford University, and also in Lagos Business School and China Europe International Business School. And I think what I'm most proud of is having raised a godly family. That's what I'm most proud of, because if you have everything and you succeed in business and succeed in your career, but you lose your family, you lose your children and your spouse, then you have not succeeded. And that is why, as part of this program, we will also devote some time to talk about family, to talk about marriage, and to talk about relationships. And through this program, this series of life coaching, which will happen every single day, same time, 8 p.m. West African time, Lagos time, GMT1, every single day, you are going to become a bigger business. One of my visions is to help small businesses, while I do it for myself also, to become global brands. So today we're looking at understanding your market and understanding your customers and understanding your audience, because this is very, very foundational to the success of your business, to the success of anything that you are doing. So it's possible you own your business or you own a side hustle, or maybe you work in an organization. So this information is very, very useful and insightful and practical for you. Okay, because what I have discovered is that many businesses are working on suboptimal opportunity. We are working, we have a great vision, we have a great mission, but we don't have the right audience or the right market. So you can see, for instance, the image that you see on the screen is someone who is working extremely hard. But the fact that this gentleman works extremely hard, carrying baskets of tomatoes for people who buy and then getting pittance, he has energy, but that opportunity is very, very suboptimal. Now, we may laugh at him, but many of our businesses do the same thing, as I'm going to share with you in my own story. So I quit Shell in 2008, and I came out with incredible zeal and passion to help people to discover their potential and also to give them a platform and the process that they can make that potential happen. So I soon went on TV, I started writing books, I started, coaching, consulting, but I started with running very low ticket seminars, because you see, I really wanted to help the poor people to do well. And I said, okay, I want to do it in such a way that people will be able to afford it. So I started running $13 seminars, $13 of the time. So which was the equivalent of, at the time, like 5,000 naira. 5,000 naira. So that was one of the most futile things I ever did. One of the most futile things. You can see the picture on the right of the screen. You can see me in an empty room, because I advertise programs, these seminars. I will advertise it on television because I was on live TV. Every single day I was on TV. I will talk about the seminar, talk about the dates, what we're going to learn, and I would also go on radio and I talk about it. We would print flyers, distribute at the time. For all those years I did this, I tried to work with the poor people. It never worked. I was hardly able to fill the room with up to 10 people. And I remember going to one city in Nigeria to hold a seminar. And it was 3,000 naira because that was not a metropolitan place. So we just said, all right, let's make it accessible to everybody. And then would you believe it that people came to prize me, ex-Shell staff, executive coach, certified. They were pricing 1,500 naira, please. Take 1,000 naira, take 1,500 naira for us. When I looked at it, I saw that this business was going nowhere. And then I would spend thousands and thousands on marketing on TV, but I was never able to get 10 people. Actually, the last straw was the one that I had. I think it's the one that is in the picture here. So I had this seminar, advertised it as usual, radio, television, everywhere. And for all those months, about 2 months or so that we advertised the program, only one person, one individual. I still remember the name of that young lady, Pamela. And Pamela, if you're watching this, I really want to thank you. So only one person signed up. And so when we got to the venue, I said, look, we can't do all this just for, we could do for one person, but it looked somehow. So I had to call her. I said, please, I would like to refund your participation. I'm sorry that we are canceling this. So I refunded her money, and that was how that program ended. Now, when I was on television, I was always advertising my programs in Lagos. But the people in Port Harcourt kept saying, oh, every time Lagos, come and work with us, come and teach us, come and coach us. Why is it always Lagos? These people put pressure for years, for like 2 years. Then one day I decided in 2009, December 2009, for some of you in Port Harcourt who remember, who used to watch me on Silverbird, Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise live program. So I listened to you people, you Port Harcourt people, and then we did a program. And I remember we budgeted almost 500,000 of that time, not of today's money, because we printed flyers, very beautiful flyers. And I remember paying the printer 80,000 naira for flyer alone. We rented Novotel Hotel, like one of the best at the time. We rented that place and I paid them up front. I had to pay up front. Then I transported people, my team, and they went all the way to Aba, they went to Yenagoa, they went through Port Harcourt sharing the flyers, while I was also talking about it on TV and on radio. I hope you are getting where I'm going, because this thing is going to change your life. What you're going to learn today is going to change your life. And then you're going to understand why I made a statement I'm going to make now. I'm known for that statement here in this country. And I've been telling business owners, most places I go to coach business teams. And you will understand why. So now, on the D-Day, we flew to Port Harcourt, and I flew a day before to Port Harcourt, and went, checked. Novotel Hotel was great. They arranged the room. I took those pictures, as you can see, in the left, and then on the right. That's me there. I took a selfie because I knew that at a day like this, I'm going to talk about this experience. 7 a.m., because we don't have the kind of infrastructure, the banking infrastructure that we have today. We didn't have it at that time in 2009. I don't think that we had mobile. I don't remember that we had mobile banking, internet banking, and all those. So people could only register at the venue and pay at the venue. That's how we used to roll in those days, Now, I got there. All those people who said they were coming, and we used SMS because SMS was a big thing in those days. It was SMS marketing, and so we had telephones of people who said they were going to attend. We had them, so we sent SMS. We kept sending SMS. Okay, it's tomorrow, 6 a.m. Yeah, in another 2 hours. 7 a.m. in another 1 hour. Anyway, 7 a.m. nobody. I said, okay, that's fine. Port Harcourt people, maybe they are not like Lagos people, they take it easy. 7:30, nobody. 8 a.m., nobody. 8:30, not a single soul in Port Harcourt showed up. 9 o'clock, nobody. 9:30, 10. That was when I started panicking. It's like, what is going on? We've spent $500,000 to hold this. And at 10 o'clock, nobody. So I picked up my phone and started going through those phone numbers of the people who said that they were going to participate anytime I came to Port Harcourt. I called the first one. Sir, I forgot to tell you. Somebody died in the village. So, so we went there. I called another person. He said, oh, so sorry, my niece is getting married. We didn't tell you. Every one of them had excuses. They didn't show up. So it was around 3 or 4 p.m. I called one, or maybe they called me. Those ones were in Yenagoa. They said, we've not left. Shall we start coming? Oh my God. So do you see why it is important to talk about today's subject, understanding your market and understanding your audience? Looking back, many of those things, knowing what I know today, many of those things were not their fault. I would have to claim responsibility for not understanding my audience and not understanding the market. And that is what happened to me is what's happening to many businesses. It may not be empty rooms. See, but you're not growing in revenue, you are not growing in size, you are not growing because you do not understand the market. You do not understand the customer that you're working with. And so that's a recipe for running a business that's overwhelming when you don't understand your audience, your customers. Okay, so what did I do after that? After that, I said, listen, I have to find my revenue sweet spot. Because there was no way my business was going to survive working with this kind of audience, with this kind of customers that had for many years many instances proven themselves that they were not very profitable audience. So one day I decided, okay, I am going to turn around to stop doing this low ticket thing, this 5,000 naira thing, 3,000 naira thing. I thought that by doing that, I was going to be more accessible to more people. And I was seeing, okay, if I made it 5,000 naira, maybe 5,000 people will be able to afford it. And because I was on TV, watched by millions of people every week, and people love the program, that if it is 5,000, at least that I will feel a 5,000 capacity room. And I thought, okay, so I could make up with that low ticket. It didn't happen. It did not happen. That's not the way it works. Anyway, so I turned around one day. I said, okay, no more 5,000 naira stuff. So I did the very first program. I changed the places that I used to run it. And we went for Protea Hotel in Ikoyi. That's what you're looking at. I think the name has changed now, but that was Protea. It was almost new at the time. So you see the picture with the first attendees. We charged, I believe it was 67 or 69,000 naira. Now, 9 people signed up immediately without television ads, without radio, without anything. They just signed up. So you can do the math, the very first one, because I now said, okay, let me leave for poor people and go to people who are well-to-do. So 9 people came up for that very first one, paid 60-something thousand. That was some money at that time. It's not like what it is now that the naira is sort of messed up, because 69,000 naira in 2009 and 2010, that was a lot of money. Many graduates weren't earning half of that or even a third of that. But people paid that. Now, something happened. I had at least 2 or 3 people. One of them, the managing director of a communications company, he said to me, "Oh, but well, thank you. I watch your TV program, but when I see your flyer for 5,000 naira, I'm wondering what is it that I'm going to learn for 5,000 naira?" And then he imagines the kind of people who will be there. Are you understanding why it's important to understand your audience, your customer? So you see, I was all these years running these low ticket things and expecting people to. And then here were people who really wanted to attend to be part of my mastermind, and they are saying 5,000 naira, because they imagine me, what am I going to learn for 5,000? Number one. And then number two, they said that they were thinking about the kind of people that they will see there, whether they would like to mix with that. 3 people said the same thing in that. So after that, I turned my back and wiped my feet. I said, I have tried for poor people, even to today, because I have also started running a low ticket event. But even till today, the poor people are the most difficult people to help. In fact, I started doing these things free for a couple of weeks. And then I was training people. I will rent canopies. I will do snacks for the people. They will come. And then one day, I had to stop. Because usually I will give them a post-assessment and evaluation form to fill so that I could always continue to make it better. And then in this particular meeting, one lady said, and this lady worked in a bank, but it's like the poverty is a state of the mind. The poor people want things for free. Everything they want for free. They have this free mentality, and that is what is keeping people in poverty. Because really, if you want to grow beyond a certain level, you must pay. You must pay for information and knowledge, because many things you hear in the public domain, don't do anything with them. So this woman said in her evaluation, she said, Mr. Obo, this was really very good. Thank you that you're always teaching us and all that. But please, next time, there should be menu. After that, I said, okay, no, this thing is not working. And then I came up with this maxim: stop doing business for poor people. I want you to type that. In fact, type that. Is somebody getting this? Type it in the comment. Please respond. Type in the comment. And then if you have had that kind of experience, share your own experience. Type in the comment. I would like to see, are you getting value so far? So I learned the hard way that you do not do business for poor people. But as I go around the country helping businesses, small businesses, I find people who don't understand the difference between charity and business. So you don't do business for poor people. Why? Put it in the comment section. Okay, let me see if somebody in the comment section gets it. Why don't you do business for poor people? Type it in the chat. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, Bukola, I see you. Stop doing business for people. Very correct. Amarachi, yeah, stop doing business for. Yes. Why do you think you should stop doing business for poor people? Type it in the chat. Over time, as I get more familiar with this technology, I will start bringing you up. Yeah, because they are not willing to pay for the price, Abdurrahman said. Very, very correct, Mr. Mayaki. Yeah. They are not willing, because even when they are able to pay for it, because this lady, I still remember the woman that said, next time do menu. She worked in a bank. I still remember even the bank that she was working with. She worked in a bank. And she said, next time I should give them 3 full course meal. Meanwhile, we were giving them snacks and water, bottled water and Coke. So if you are listening to this live, and you're doing business for poor people, stop it. Give poor people food. Give them clothes. Do charity for them, not business. buy television for them to watch. Put TV somewhere for them to be watching European League, BB Nigeria and all that. That's what poor people love. But you can't spend your precious money to set up an infrastructure, to set up a business for poor people. That is a recipe for failure. Okay, so now when I now turned to find my market, that's when I now discovered my revenue hotspot. And it was after that that I found myself working for big brands like MultiChoice, like MTN, like Flutter Wave, like Stanbic IBDC. We did a retreat for them, for the HR department. Okay, that's when I started working for Kutix, for Chikasen Group, for companies in Angola. Integrated Solutions is in Angola. For many of them, Brand Life, not so many across different industries. Man, so that's when I discovered how good business is. And the only thing that changed it was I understood my market and my audience that I create value for. And everything changed from that time. So stop creating your business model out of pity. Stop creating business model out of pity. Some people set up schools. Like I know, someone set up a school. And then he is very, 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 very reluctant to charge them because, he wants everybody to be part. Do you know how expensive education is? And then when you don't charge, he doesn't have the courage to charge. How can you be charging what you charged 3 years ago when the dollar was 400 naira and today is 1,005, like 3 times, and things have gone up? You are still charging the same thing. It wasn't even enough at that time, and you are charging because you have a religious mind. You want to say, who told you education is very, very expensive? Okay, so it's important to find your right audience. So at the end of today's session, there are 4 things each of you is going to walk out of this place with. So the first one is that you are going to learn how to make your business focused on your customers, okay? How to create a customer-centric business model. You can, please type that in the comment. I would like to see some engagement. Just type it. A customer-centric business model. That's what I want you to develop, and I'm going to show you exactly how. Customer-centric business model. Type that in the chat. So, and I'm going to explain what a customer-centric business model is. Now, it does not matter whether all you're doing is a side hustle. It does not matter whether it's a small business and then you've never really made a revenue of up to 10 million naira in the year. Or for those of you from outside the country watching this, you've never made $1 million, okay? So it does not matter whether it's a side hustle, an established business, or you are about to start. This will save you years of agony. The business model you want to create must be customer-centric, centered on the customer. At the end of this session, you will also get a set of tools. I'm going to share tools that will help you understand your market and avoid the kind of failure and errors and mistakes I made, in my own time. And then you will also get to know how to use social media to see what your customers are thinking and saying is gold. Many people don't really know how to use social media to make money, okay? And then you will know how to gather and understand customer feedback to match your business to their needs so that you'll be able to create products that people love, products that the market love. Because why create products and then you spend so much developing your products and then nobody is interested in it? Okay, so our agenda will go through 4 steps. So first of all, I'll take you through making your business customer-centric. Second of all, I will share some powerful toolkits for understanding your audience. Isn't that exciting, okay? Third of all, I'm going to teach you something that very few people, creators are doing, content creators are not doing it, many people are not doing it. In fact, big organizations are not doing it. I hope I remember to share with you the case study of Dangote that I did in one of my lectures in Lagos Business School, Dangote noodles. You will find it very, very interesting. So I'll mention it. I prepared that case study for Dangote noodles. And 2 weeks after I did that, Dangote noodles was acquired because it was a failed business. The same thing happened to Diamond Bank. I also did a case study, based on social listening. And within 2 weeks, Diamond Bank collapsed, was bought by Access Bank. All right. And then we'll now finally settle by analyzing customer feedback to improve your business. So let's get started right into it. Let's dive right into making your business customer centric. Okay, now there are two geniuses that you must learn about. Okay, if you want to succeed. In fact, you cannot do your MBA and succeed in your MBA without learning about these two gentlemen I'm going to talk about. Actually, 2 or 3 of them. They are, in fact, guru status when it comes to making businesses work and making big businesses. And while they were alive, they were very instrumental to forming the big Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies that you know in the world. It was their mentorship, their principles, their philosophies that created the biggest businesses that we have in the world today. Therefore, you really want to listen when Peter Drucker talks. So Peter Drucker said, because the purpose of a business is to create a customer. When you hear some of these things, I need you to put it in the comment section, because the reason you want to put it in the comment section is when you type something, or if you have a journal you are writing, but actually comment section, there's it's like an amen, it's like an agreement with this. It becomes part of you. It becomes something an insight that will not leave you, that even after this you can start implementing in your small business, on your side hustle. The purpose of business is to create a customer. Everybody live, please type it in the comment section. Type it. The purpose of business is to create a customer. In fact, if I were you, I would do an exercise tonight. Just take 1 full scrap paper and 2, and then fill it with this thing until it enters my subconscious. I'm repeating it so that it will get into your subconscious. The purpose of business is to create a customer. The purpose of business is to create a customer. The purpose of business is to create a customer. Many Nigerian businesses don't understand it. And this is why customer service is just terrible. If I ask each of you, like I normally do when I lecture in the business schools, and I say, tell me your worst buying experience and tell me your best buying experience. And people will tell stories that you would not believe of how businesses treated customers who give them money. Okay? Now, so Peter Drucker said, because the purpose of business is to create a customer, the business enterprise has 2 and only 2 basic functions: marketing and innovation. I have followed Peter Drucker. I have followed his principles, for like as long as I remember. Marketing and innovation. Okay? It is marketing that brought you here to listen to me. It's marketing. Just keep on. And the marketing is not what people think it is. It's not carrying a groundnut on your head and then walking around and saying, okay? Marketing has 3 parts. Okay? 3 pillars in marketing. And if those 3 things are not part of what you are doing, then what you are doing is not marketing. Marketing is different from hustling. The 3 parts of marketing strategy is: number 1, there must be a customer. Okay, so there must be a customer who you serve. without a thorough understanding of the customer, you are not doing marketing. You are just fishing in the desert. So the number one pillar of marketing is the customer, knowing your customer, understanding your customer. The second pillar of marketing is called value proposition. In other words, there is a pain, there is a problem that the customer has that your business exists to solve. And so marketing matches the customer with the offer. That offer is supposed to help him to go from status A to status B. So marketing moves people. It matches the audience with an offer, with a perfect offer. So if your audience is going north and your offer or your product or your service is going south, that's why many businesses are very uncontrollable. That's why businesses are hard to run. Because essentially, you can change your business with just these two things I have said. Know your customer, know the customer pain, and then you have a value proposition for the customer, an offer that he or she cannot say no to. Now, the third pillar of marketing is geography, the location, whether it's online or offline. Location did not become less important because the world has gone digital. Because if you run a retail store, you know how critical location is. So the difference between location A and location B, location A is making 500 million a year, and location B is barely making 30 million a year. The difference is location. You might find is location. So it's the same way. If majority of your audience are on LinkedIn, they are professionals, they are CEOs, they are whatever, you may not find them on TikTok. You may also not find them on Facebook. They may be there. But if you go to LinkedIn, you can actually find them. So location matters, whether it's virtual, whether it's digital, or it is offline. Okay? So let me repeat that. The purpose of business is to create a customer. And every business has only two basic functions: marketing and then innovation. All right. Are you getting value so far? Is this exciting? Are you learning something tremendous? Okay, so let me introduce you to the second guru. Okay? You cannot attend, for instance, Harvard Business School without hearing, if you do marketing, without hearing about Theodore Levitt. I have a couple of his books actually. Okay? Theodore said, the purpose of a business is to get and keep a customer. Do you see how very, very identical what he says is to what Peter Drucker said? Now, the purpose of a business is to create and keep a customer. So he has actually added a little bit, a spin to it. It's not just to create a customer, but also to keep the customer. And by the way, as an aside, the more your business develops a strategy to retain customers, the more money your business will make. The more your business develops strategies to keep your customers coming back, in other words, to have repeat business, it's the more that your business will make. So the purpose of a business is to get and keep a customer. Now, look at what he says. He said, without customers, no amount of engineering wizardry, clever financing, or operations expertise can keep a company going, because customer is the life of the business. It's the life of the business. So if you don't have customers, you might have incredible infrastructure. Imagine, for instance, that our brother Dangote finishes building this $20 billion refinery and there's no uptake. And many people are running businesses like that. They have a very expensive store somewhere in Accra or in Nairobi, or in high-rise Lagos business district, but they don't have any business because they don't have customer. So no matter how clever the financing, or no matter how brilliant your operations team is, if you don't have a customer, it means nothing. Okay, which is what brings me to one of the controversial posts I've made on Facebook a couple of weeks back, and then so many people were attacking. So many people said, and they don't know where it comes from. Now, after having listened so far, you will now appreciate when I say that you do not start a business to solve your personal problem, because you start a business to create a customer, not to solve your personal problem. You solve your personal problem by first solving other people's problems, solving the customer's problem. When you solve the customer's problem, the customer in turn solves your problem by exchanging money for the value that you provided him. So don't make the mistake to start a business just because you want to solve your personal problem. You're having financial troubles, or you want to start a business, or you can't pay school fees, you can't pay rent. Oh, I'm going to start my business. You are going to be frustrated. But you start a business because you've identified a customer, a very profitable customer segment that you are going to serve. And then those people will now in turn solve your personal problems. Okay, so let's make a transition to now define what is customer centricity. Customer centricity is simply, don't mind the big word, customer centered. That's basically what it's saying. Customer centricity implies building, not just building, but also running your business with the customer at the center. Okay, you need to memorize this. Building and running your business with the customer at the center, meaning that every decision you make in your business has the customer at heart. In fact, I do not really know, I don't remember I encountered this during my years at Stanford Seed and my research. There's actually a business, it escapes my mind now, that when they are meeting, either in the boardroom, when that company is meeting, the CEO is having a meeting with his team, they always have an empty chair. They always have an empty chair at the prominent place on the table. And then they say that that chair is the customer's chair. So every conversation they are making it bearing in mind that the customer is sitting there. And I think that's a very brilliant way to implement customer centricity in your business. Okay, how about in your meeting rooms, when you are meeting with your team, just bring a chair there and say, this is the customer. So every conversation, every idea, everything you say must be in recognition of that customer that is there. And I think it's really very, very brilliant. And of course, the brain doesn't know the difference between something imagined and something that is real. So if you imagine the customer sitting there in the meeting, then you don't say anything that your brain will actually believe the customer is there. And it's going to be very helpful as you are designing your product, as you are designing your offer, knowing that the customer is there. It's going to be very, very helpful to you to just put a seat there and know that the customer is there. That is customer centricity. Okay? Now, Jack Welch, he's late, but he was the turnaround CEO of General Motors. Very, very brilliant CEO in his time, with so many wise sayings, so much wisdom, business wisdom. So Jack Welch said, if I had to run a company on 3 measures, those measures would be, number 1, customer satisfaction. Do you see that customer centricity again? He said his primary focus, because if you've run a business for a while and then you're familiar with KPIs, key performance indicators, and you're familiar with the balance scorecard, you know that there are hundreds of metrics, hundreds of metrics all over the place. Sales has its own metrics, marketing has metrics, HR has metrics, operations has thousands of metrics. Engineering, production, they have metrics. So there are literally thousands of metrics that people use to run business. But this man said he will only run 3. Number 1, customer. Number 2, employee. Number 3, cash flow. The customer is so critical. Brilliant CEOs, billion-dollar companies, all focus on companies. So don't, because you are hustling and you're basically struggling to see the next day, think that it does not apply to you. The customer is a secret of success in business. The customer is everything. Now, so what I have created for you, you can actually screenshot this. Otherwise, you can also watch it on replay. Okay? So there are questions that a customer-centric business owner or hustler, side business, whatever, side hustle, there are 10 questions that you should wake up with every morning. Okay? So after years of working with hundreds of businesses across the continent, across over 50 different industries, whether you're talking about agriculture or banking or finance or manufacturing or health and all that. I've worked with different companies, including non-profits as well. I have come up with these 10 powerful questions that can take your business from where it is right now to a place you will shock yourself. Like if you say, in the next 30 days, that's the way I would like you to think about implementing this. Just tell yourself, in the next 30 days, I will wake up with these questions. And then it may not be 10 of them every morning. Okay, but you wake up in the morning and the first question is, how can I make my customers much happier today? How can I make them much happier today? Okay? Then make a note, brainstorm, and you can actually do the same thing with your team. How can we make, I am telling you, the happier your customers are, the more money you make. But a lot of business owners want to make more money before they make their customers happy. That's upside down. It's the other way around. You make the customer happy, and then they will give you money. Second question, what can I do to make things easier for my customers? That is why I'm doing what I'm doing, because for 1,000 days, I am going to do this every single evening. Do you know how much it takes from me? But I'm saying this is going to make my customers' lives much, much richer, so that before they even spend money, they've already gotten value. Before they spend money on my program, they're already implementing things that are changing their business. Isn't that cool? So because I ask, how can I make things easier for my customers? Part of that question is also, how can I make it easy for my customers to do business with me? All right. So it might be that your payment gateway is always failing, so you can't capture value. Customers are struggling to pay you. They can't pay you. Your POS is always down. So you can ask, how can I make things easier for my customer? Number 3, customer-centric question. What did my customers say they don't like, and how can I fix it? Because so many of us, customers are complaining every day, right at your doorstep, in your store, in your online business. They are complaining, and you're not fixing it. All right. Number 4, what do my customers want that I don't have? So I've worked with some pharmacies, and one of the biggest problems with pharmacy businesses, retail, is inventory. It's controlling inventory. And it's one of the things that kill pharmacy and other retail business is if customers continue to come and they're asking for one particular product or one particular medication and you never have it. They come first, you don't have it. Second time, you don't have it. Third time, you don't have it. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to abandon you and go to a place where they will find it. So one of the biggest problems of pharmacy retail businesses is availability of products. Okay. Number 5, can I surprise my customers with something extra nice? Can you imagine, again, going back to the retail, people have been coming to buy from you. And now, for instance, in Nigeria, things are hard. It's the same thing in Ghana. I don't know about South Africa. For some of you who joined from South Africa, things are hard. and prices have gone up. And then suppose one day you do some kind of cost engineering or something, and then you're able to give customers something, you just surprise them with something, they finish buying something, and then you give them, even if it's something like a bag of water, the gesture, a bag of what Nigerians call pure water or something like that, or they come in and then you just give them a bottle of soda, cold soda. Can you imagine? That customer is loyal forever. He will come back. She will come back. Number 6, what is stopping my customers from being happy? And how can I help? Like in the industry, not just like in your own business, in the industry, certain things make customers unhappy. So how can you make them happy? For instance, there's a lot of hesitation in Nigeria for people to buy financial coaching programs like mine, and you don't blame them, because literally I would say 9.5 out of 10 Nigerians have been scammed. If a Nigerian is at least a teenager, he or she has been scammed. Do you know how I know? Because I go to places to give talks to people, and I ask people, how many of you have been scammed? So there's a lot of fraudulent schemes. People have defrauded Nigerians of billions and run away with their money. They come up with all kinds of investment schemes. People now pay in, and then they run away with the money. Okay? Even you in the live session, can you type in the comment just yes or no? Have you been scammed before? Have you fallen victim to a money scam in Nigeria before? Type in the chat. I'll just give you a second. Have you been scammed before? Type in the chat. Type yes, type no, so that we can just see it right now. Okay, have you fallen victim to money scam? Yeah, just look at the comment section. Yes, literally everybody, yes. I too have been scammed. I've been scammed of a really, really huge amount of money. So I can see yes. Just look at that. Yes, all over the place. Now, exactly, Chukwuka says he's been scammed. Bukola says he's been scammed. Linian has been scammed. Ayobo, I have been scammed. Not once, not twice, but maybe even 3 times. Okay? Therefore, if I ask myself that question, as somebody who plays in that space, what is stopping my customers from being happy, and how can I help? All right, so that's a very powerful question for customer, putting your customers ahead, knowing that these customers have been scammed, they have bled, they have lost money. How can you help them to be happy? Because nobody who has lost money, none of you was happy being scammed. Okay? Number 7, are my team and I working together to make customers happy? Very good question. Because you also have to understand, you might be making your team happy, but if your team, if your employees are not happy, chances are that they will deliver it on the customers, on the poor customers who don't even know why they're not happy. Number 8, can I make things more special for each customer? Right? How can you customize what you do for each customer? Okay, especially seasonal times like Valentine, like Father's Day, Mother's Day, Christmas season. How can you, Salah? How can you personalize your products, for customers during Salah? Okay, how can I show my customers that I really care about them? And then number 10, what can I do today to be a better friend to my customers? Ladies and gentlemen, please, if you have a business going, an established business, take these 10 questions to your team. Work on it. You will be shocked, even as hard as the economy right now, you'll be shocked the kind of transformation that you will experience in your business, because customer is everything, remember? Okay. And then Jeff Bezos of Amazon says, don't fear the competitor, fear the customer. Because a lot of people spend their time worrying about competitors. He said, no. If you take care of customer, if you fear the customer and then you take care of customer and customer is happy with you, then competition is irrelevant. A lot of people waste their time on competition. But if you focus on the customer and give the customer what they want, then you've automatically taken care of competition, because the customers will troop to your business. Okay, let's go to the second part of the agenda. Now, I'm going to introduce you to several tools for understanding your market, because now that you understand how important it is to know your customer, to know your audience, the next question is, oh boy, how do I do it? And then of course you know that by evolution, that the best way to get things done is to have tools to be able to do that. So there are quite a number of tools. So I have 5 here, but for today, for our time today, I'm just going to focus on 2, but I will make a brief mention of all these other ones. So here are 2 keys that every business owner in Africa, in Europe, in the United States, in Canada, every business owner should familiarize themselves with these tools I'm going to talk about tonight. Familiarize yourself with it, because that is how you are going to get the customer insights, your audience insights that can make your business precise. All right. So the first toolkit is social media listening. So being able to listen, and it is at this point that I will tell you about the Dangote noodles case study that I did for Lagos Business School, for my Lagos Business School lecture. So I went to, Naira Land is a popular forum for Nigerians. So when I was preparing that lecture for an MBA class in LBS, I did a mini study, because usually the challenge we have in the business schools is the case studies that are studied don't often reflect the local structure, the local reality. So in my lectures, I look for things and local realities that people relate to, that the business owners, entrepreneurs in that audience relate to. So I now discovered that in 2006, that somebody made a complaint in Naira Land. And then, in Naira Land in those days, the forum started newly. It was a hot, and I think it's still a hot topic area, powerful platform where people go to find information, to ask questions, to find, to express their grievances. And somebody dropped a comment there, 2006. If you actually go to Naira Land today and tap, hopefully it's still in that archive, you will see where somebody first complained about Dangote noodles. And then he used words like, it's so useless, it's so whatever, I'm done with Dangote noodles. People now came and started talking about the noodles, that is useless, that is whatever, that once you put it in water, that, they had all kinds of complaints. I'm not a noodles person, but these people, 2006, 2007, somebody mentioned it again. 2009, somebody mentioned it again. 2010, they were still talking about, the whole place was filled with people complaining about Dangote noodle. And then I think I did this lecture around, I don't know when, maybe 2018 or about 2018, 2019. So now I want you to imagine 2019 minus 2006. That is 13 good years. And I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, for 13 good years, nobody from Dangote noodles went to this place to tell the people, to talk to the people, to say, oh, okay, we've heard you. We are going to do that. Or maybe you are not preparing it well. You are preparing it the way you are preparing other, our own is different. To talk to the market. They were not doing social media listening. And they did not. And then the next thing we heard was Dangote. In fact, the year I did that lecture was the year that business failed, and then it was bought over by another company because it was not profitable. All right. Then there is web analytics. You can find a lot, get a lot of customer insight from web analytics. Now, if you have a WordPress site or a website at all, and you have Google Analytics plugin connected, you are going to get a ton of information. You're going to find out who is visiting your website and from where they are visiting, Sometimes I see people from places I never really expected visiting. It's a scoop. Okay, the third way to understand your audience, the third tool is through survey and feedback tools. Before I run most of my programs, I send people a survey, which is basically Google form. And I ask just 2-3 key questions. Number one question, what is the biggest challenge or the biggest obstacle you are having in an area related to what I'm going to talk about? If it's cash flow, I ask, what is your biggest obstacle regarding cash flow in your business? And then number two, I ask, what are the top 3 things that you want to walk out of this experience with? Man, is that information? So I have 300, 400 people fill the form, and they're telling me, this is my problem. This is what I want to learn. That is a scoop. So survey and feedback, because with that, I now know the people who are coming. I know my audience. I know them. And I also adjust my offering, my coaching session to meet those needs, because they've already told me what their challenges are. Is this making sense to you, somebody? Let me just give you a second, to type in the chat. Is this making sense to you? You've got to know your audience. Imagine how incredible it is that I know the people who are coming to my event. I know what they are struggling with. I know what is stopping them. And I know what their expectations are before they even come. So that's why most times my sessions are very, very effective. And it's always like, all the people participating, it's always like, oh, he's talking to me. It's because I have done that survey. Okay, great. Yes, okay, Oscar, I see that. Chukwuka, yes, I see the yes. I see Oscar. Very well, sir. Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, now the third tool for understanding your audience is your CRM, your customer relationship management systems. Okay, there are so many of them. Salesforce is the big one, used by many big organizations. All right, so if you're a small business, really, really small, doing small numbers, maybe Salesforce is not where you're going at, but Salesforce is very powerful. But there is Zoho. So a lot of businesses use Zoho. You can do your invoicing there, and then when people also buy, it captures data for them. All right. So CRMs help. There are also certain email marketing programs like MailChimp, like GetResponse, that can also help you to understand the customer, the audience. I can't say this enough. Understanding your audience is key to growing, to scaling your business, because scaling your business is directly tied to understanding the people you are creating value for. And then the favorite for me is design thinking. Okay, so we use design thinking a lot in Stanford University, Stanford Seed. And then many Fortune 100 companies, Fortune 500 companies, whether you're talking about Apple or you're talking about HP or you're talking about, name them, or you're talking about Google, they all use design thinking. And design thinking is a very disciplined process of putting the customer at the very center of design. Okay, so it has many tools and techniques like empathy work, wearing the shoes of your customer, and feeling the pain directly, physically, observing his environment and their work, and then using all that insight to develop a product that does wow for the company. So that is design thinking. All right, so over time, because we still have, today is day 3, so we've only done 3 days, we still have 997 days. So we're going to get a chance to dive deep into many of these things to make them very practical, and so that you can put them in your business. For each of you that join me and that are here today, I really want success stories. I want to see that as a result of these insights, that I'm just pleading with you to implement, to always be implementation oriented. So what I usually tell my live audience is, everything you are learning here, if something really, really touches you, you get some insight, make a note of them, and then ask yourself one question. Please write down this question. Write down this question. I normally start with that question. If you hear something that is like an aha moment, like eureka moment, oh, that this is it moment, write down that insight and then ask yourself immediately underneath it, how can I make this actionable? This is powerful. This is powerful in coaching, because if you don't ask that question, it ends up becoming just head knowledge. You hear it, it's exciting, you love it, but then you go back to your business and then you don't implement it. Or like we'll be talking about family tomorrow, we'll be talking about marriage. I have to check the topic for tomorrow, and I hope that all of you will be there, because every week we will definitely deal with the issue, because family is very dear to my heart. So type in the chat, how can I make this actionable? How can I make this actionable? Okay? That is a very, very powerful question to ask all the time. How can I make this actionable? Okay? Type it in the chat. Participate. Type it in the chat. How can I make this actionable? Excellent. Yeah, I can see the love. Yeah. Strike the love. Yep. Yes, Chukwuka. Yeah. How can I make this actionable? That's a very important question you should write on top of your journal every day. Anytime you hear something that is so insightful, that moves you, don't let it go. Yes, Abdurrahman. How can I make this actionable? Don't let it go. Always ask yourself, how do I make this actionable? Yes. Patricia, how can I make this actionable? Yeah, so we have some ladies in the room. Awesome. I'm rooting for you. Okay. Yeah, Lillian. Yeah, thank you, sir, for all the insight. Fantastic. Okay, there's a question. Lillian says, but for someone whose business is so small, like just that one alone, and it's a buying and selling business, okay, how do I make it workable? Fantastic question. It's actually the same thing, Lillian, because buying and selling, and I'm happy you asked this, because a lot of people who do buying and selling, they just do buy. For instance, when our children were younger and they were in secondary school, we used to buy them, their school shoes and belts and all those things that children normally go back with school. So there was a particular shop. I forget what they call that whole place. That I think we just call it Balogo. So there was a particular store and a particular woman that sold shoes and sold things, that children. So parents used to come from different places for different schools, schools outside Lagos, schools within Lagos. And she was quite big. You enter the place, see shoes, and then you find everything in there. So one day, after we bought things for our children, we just finished buying, and people were just buying and going, nothing. So I called that woman aside. I said, these parents who have been buying things from you, do you have an exercise book where you have written their names and their numbers and their children and the birthdays of their children? Of course, she couldn't grasp that kind of concept, because the buying and selling that our people do is like that. But buying and selling is exactly the same thing. So you don't need to implement big things like Salesforce or Google Forms or something like that, or Adobe Analytics. You can have a simple exercise book, or let me not even do exercise book. A simple spreadsheet. Okay, so if you can, a simple spreadsheet, the people who buy from you, where they live, their ages, their marital status, the cycle of their buying, how frequently they buy, when they are likely to buy again. So whatever you are selling, if you start collecting that data, you'll be amazed, how much insight you'll gather from that information that you're just gathering. Anybody who buys from you have a way of finding out a little bit, about them as much as you can. And then you have their birthdays. You have ways, like I have ways to find out your birthday without even asking you directly. Okay? And then on 12th of August, your birthday, I just send you something. I'm that girl that you buy hair from, that I do buy and selling. You bought your last hair. from me. Oh my God. When I need her again, who do you think I will go to? So it applies for whether it's a side hustle or it's a full-time engagement. So Lillian, type in the chat and tell me, was that a helpful answer? Okay, so while you do that, let's go now to social media listening. So I'm going to just handle 2 of them for today. So because we already have a lot to digest, I don't want to fill our minds. All right, so what is social media listening? So social media listening allows you to monitor the conversations. I just talked about the Dangote's own. The conversations, the trends, the sentiments around your brand, around your company, around what you're selling, of the industry, target audience on social media platforms. So if you're running a school, for instance, you're running a primary school or a secondary school, there are conversations affecting your industry. All right, maybe in the social media, parents are complaining about how hard things are. They're complaining about, maybe Loyola raised their fee to so amount, and people are talking about it. Then another one in Enugu raises their fee to another one in Port Harcourt raises their fee. So people are talking about it. They are talking on Twitter. They are talking on Facebook. Or they are, So you're listening to that conversation, and it's going to help you, because when you are a school owner, a school proprietress or proprietor, and you're listening to what people are saying about the cost of education, about curriculum, or you hear, oh, this school is fantastic, that they produced a child, who represented Nigeria in Geneva, and you find, oh, parents are loving it and everybody's trooping to that school. It can give you some idea about how you can adjust your own curriculum as a school to be able to do the same thing. So listening to people online is your crystal ball. Social media listening is important. So don't just scroll and consume comic and comedy skits. I hate those things. For a serious business person, just spend hours consuming all these skits and all that. Some of them are really very, very gutterish and things like that. Scroll. So many times I go to influencers handle, people who are playing in my space, and then I notice that they made a post that has like 2,000, 3,000 3,000 comments. That is gold. I learned a lot from there. So you go there and you're listening to the people. It's a gold mine for you to spot opportunities to improve your business, to improve your product. Because what I usually discover is that through the comments that they make on social media, on these posts, and even on my own posts, I'm able to tell, what are the sentiments that people have. For instance, when I did this in my own brand, I noticed that there's a very strong prevailing negative sentiment that toward motivational speakers. And so even though I'm not a motivational speaker, so I noticed that there's a sentiment that people have that when I come and I post online, they mistake me for a motivational speaker, which is not what I am. But it's a sentiment. I've noticed it everywhere on LinkedIn and especially on Facebook. So they call me motivational speaker. And then there's also another sentiment about scamming, all right? Because so many people have been scammed in Nigeria. So when I come up with something, with a product, people call me scammer. So it's a sentiment. And I know this sentiment because I'm listening to the social media. So it's a gold mine for you to understand the sentiments in your industry, the trends, and then it will help you to make decisions, okay? So it helps you to keep an eye on what people are saying about your company. So you look out for mentions. So I have several posts all over the internet mentioning me. Sometimes newspapers quote me. Sometimes, different people just quote me. They said, Obo Awokobo said, and things, and I see shares and I see mentions. So keep an eye on that, okay? So understand the context and the emotion behind the mentions. All right. So I recently shared a post about my thoughts around death. After Onyeka Onwenu died, I shared my thoughts, and I really wasn't expecting it. But that post has gone literally viral with hundreds of mentions in different people sharing it across LinkedIn, across Facebook, and even other places. People are sharing it that I'm not keeping track of. All right. So keep track of that. Understand the context and emotions behind it. So I found that there's very strong emotion behind death and the way we look at death. I've also found that there's a very strong emotion behind whenever I post content around witches and wizards. There's a very strong emotions around witches and wizards in Africa, and people are blaming witches and wizards for everything. So I'm listening, I'm doing social media listening, and I'm keeping track. There's a very strong emotion around people praying that their enemies should fall and die. Very, very strong. And then if some of you have seen some of those posts and then the comments people have made, when I say that it's not necessary to pray for your enemies to die, you can see how strong that is. Okay? Then social media listening also involves interacting with the customers to show them that you are listening and that you care about their feedback. So respond and engage. So sometimes, people just call me names, like the one who said yesterday, he came to my post and said something like I was wearing a fake Rolex. Meanwhile, what I was talking about had nothing to do with Rolex. And then secondly, I'm not a rich person. I've never, go and check out my posts. There's never a place I told you that I'm rich. I normally say it's a journey for me. I am not that rich person, so I can't afford a television. I can't afford a Rolex. So I just engaged with him, and I said, well, thank you for your observation that you're right. I'm not rich, but this is why I'm doing what I'm doing, serving you, providing content for you, coaching you, so that one day I will be able to afford a Rolex. And he was happy. So respond and engage. Okay, so the benefits of social media listening: you can spot emerging trends very early before your competition. You can adjust your marketing strategies based on customer feedback, and then you can enhance customer satisfaction by addressing their issues very, very promptly. Awesome. All right, so I have a social media worksheet that has 10 checkpoints. All right, so I can send this to you. I have to figure out a way to send you materials and worksheets that you can use to implement the things I'm teaching. I haven't really figured it out yet, but I have a PDF of this. So we're not going to take time to look at this. You can go back to the replay either on YouTube or on Facebook, and then you spend time, you just pause it here, and then use this for your own social listening. This will change your business. Even if you're doing buying and selling, or you're a content creator, or you're running online courses, or you're a manufacturer, or you have a physical store. This is fantastic. If you can do this, you see, let me warn you, what I've seen across businesses in Africa is that many of us are not very used to, our leadership teams are not used to rigor, like doing some serious thinking, and we just want to go and then we just keep on running things the way they have been, and then we don't have training in innovation. Okay, so one of the days I'm going to talk about innovation and train you to think innovatively. You don't have to be a billion naira company to think innovatively. All right, so go through these checkpoints one after another. What are people saying about your business, your brand? Then make a list and order. And I give examples here. So go back to replay and then take a look at this, and feel free to use it. And I can post it if you request in the comment section. I'm not sure if the comment section takes PDF, but I could try, or I just put it somewhere in the post or a link that can help you to download it and then apply. All right, so finally, let's talk about web analytics. Okay, and remember, we're talking about understanding your market and understanding your audience. And we've established that customer centricity, that your customers are your business, that businesses exist to create customers. Remember, that's where we are. And then we are saying that these are the tools. We've looked at 5 tools, and then we've done a deep dive on one of them, which is social media listening. The second one we want to talk about, because we won't talk about all 5 today, is web analytics. All right, so web analytics involves examining data sets to help you draw conclusions. So we're talking about data analytics and web analytics. Okay, so this actually should be web analytics, but it's also website data analysis. And then why do you do that? To be able to identify patterns, trends, and insights. What you have in the image there actually came from my page, my Facebook page. Can you already see so much information that I'm getting there? There's no way I would have been able to just get this information if I didn't use analytics. Because now, as of this evening, I have 49,110 followers. There's no way I could have found all the information for 49,000 people just using my head. I don't even know them. They just follow me on Facebook alone. But can you see that from data analytics, I can tell the age ranges of the people who engage in my page, of the people who follow me. So you can see from that data that I can identify that I'm mostly followed by young people between 25 and 34 years, or let's just say between 25 and 44. These are my hottest followers. They're between 22 years and 44 years. And I can almost predict that all of you here who are here live fall within that 25 to 44, and then maybe a few of you 45 to 54. I'm actually also a bit surprised that I have people who are already in their mid-60s, very, very interested in my content. And then I can see that I have more males, that 83.3% of my followers are men, and then 16.7% are female. So all this information can help me to plan things, So I might say, for instance, that in the next 90 days, I want to reach out to more women, to empower more women. Then it will now help me to start creating posts that engage women, that help them, that deal with women issues. And then I can say, over the next 1 year, I want to bump up the women who are benefiting from my work from 16.7% to 30%. And then I ask, what are the strategies I will use to do that? So you see how powerful data analytics is, okay? And then I can also see from my analytics that I have that 17.7% of people who follow me. That's a whopping almost 20% of my followers are from Lagos. That's a lot of insight. And then more than 60% of people who follow me are Nigerians, followed by Ghana, UK, United States, and Kenya. Incredible information. So when you have this, you can identify insights that can help you to run your business much better. We are talking about understanding your market and then your audience. So collect data to do your web analytics. Collect data from different sources, all right, such as your web page. If you have a WordPress site, for instance, you already have there are some tools and some plugins like Google Analytics. There are a couple of others that are native to your website host that you can use to understand things like page views, clicks, bounce rates, like how many seconds do people stay on your landing page or different pages. And you can also see which pages are converting the most. Incredible information, because this will now help you to know what pages am I going to optimize. Why are people jumping out of my landing page too early? You can pinpoint that. You can also collect information, like I said, from web forms, contact forms, subscription forms. When you give people this, what we call a squeeze page, when you promise people also something else that we call lead magnet. So lead magnet is something you give people for free for signing up to your maybe your blog, or signing up to your program, or to something. You give them something free. So all those things have data. All right, Google Forms, you can collect so much data. Then the second step is to analyze the data. look out for patterns, especially recurring patterns and trends. Okay, you might see that people from, like at the time I saw that people from Netherlands and Australia were very, very interested, in my work. That's a very important trend, because now what I can do is I can create something targeting specifically people in Netherlands and people in Australia. And then I can also find out, even from my website analytics, I can actually find out what systems the people are using to visit my website. Are they using Mac or are they using Windows? Okay, what times of the day do they typically come? These are very helpful information if I understand that pattern. What time of the day, what day of the week are they mostly active? That might be the time I will choose to publish a blog or something. All right. Then most of all, look out for user behavior and user preferences. Okay, like user behavior can be things around, like I said, what kind of computer systems they use. Do they use Mac? Do they use iOS, or do they use Google? What do they call Google's operating system again for phones? Android. All right. So you can find all that data. Those are behavior data. And then what are their preferences? Okay. From the places that they visit in your website, you can find out all that. This is useful because when you now have these insights, you can now make informed business decisions, because now you have a better understanding of customer behavior, and then you are now able to tailor specific products and services to the market needs, and now you are able to improve the accuracy of your forecasting your revenue growth, forecasting your company growth. I hired a coach, Nigerian lady, who is doing very, very well in the online training space, and this woman is phenomenal. She is extremely phenomenal. She uses data beautifully. So she runs a particular event every quarter in the year, and then she's able to predict, okay, she showed me her numbers. Okay, so on one of the events, she made 54 million, and then she was now 54 million during one of them. So now she's projecting that within this year that she's going to do like 260 million or something, and she's already on target. Why is she able to make such incredible predictions without having to go to a prophet? Because she has data, because she uses analysis. She understands her audience. She understands their buying patterns. She understands their behaviors, and then she advertises to those behaviors. She targets those behaviors because she understands the audience. All right, so, and that's exactly where we are going to hone it for today, so that I can let you go and digest all that. I know it's been a lot of insight, today, and I would like you in the comment section to write what your aha moment is. Okay, as we round off, please write down what your aha moments were in today's evening. Now, this thing helps me. It's still part of what we are talking about, understanding my audience, understanding you better, so that I can serve you better and help you to grow and help your business to grow. Because that's what I do. That's what I do for a living. That's what I'm wired to do, to take businesses from point A to point B. What were your aha moments? What are the things, your key takeaways today? Things that have made your day. Just hearing that, what made your day? Type in the comment section. And then if you still have any further questions, please ask it in the comment section, and then come back and check, because I'm going to go through the questions and then answer them. But for now, I want you to tell me, what were your key takeaways? What did this evening do for you and for your business? Do for your life as a person or for your company? What is one thing that was like light bulbs came up in your mind? Please type it in the chat. Okay, I'll read a couple of them and then we will close. I'll really be very, very grateful. What's your key takeaway? What made your day today? Okay, I'm seeing some questions here. Very, very good. Abdurrahman, can we have, yeah, we do. Actually, we have a WhatsApp group. We have a WhatsApp group, and I'm going to drop the link to signing up, because in fact tomorrow we are handling a very fantastic subject tomorrow at 8 p.m. It's focused on how to generate cash flow how to generate healthy cash flow in a very unhealthy economy. You definitely don't want to miss that, because we're going to talk about money, practical, not theory. Okay. All right. Oscar's aha moment. Okay. Let me read a few. Uchenna, you're also asking, what is Google Forms and how can I access it? I will answer that in the chat, so just please come back later. Yeah, Abdurrahman says, my aha moment is the purpose of business, customer centricity. Fantastic. Oscar says, to be customer centered as a business owner. Fantastic. Okay. Patricia says, aha moment, the purpose of a business is to create a customer and to keep the customer. Awesome. All right, so I want to thank all of you for joining me, and I hope you make it with me through the 1000 days, and then as you do so, you will notice specific growth in your life, in your relationships, and then in your wealth. Until this same time tomorrow, keep showing up, because you never know what's coming your way next. And I'll talk to you again really, really soon.